America, what do you love best? Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet. It's the heartbeat of America. It runs deep. It's like a rock. The history of Chevrolet matches the advertising slogans from over the years. The history of Chevy runs deep. They are built strong, like rocks. And Chevys have kept a pulse on America, who we are, and what we love. Chevrolet got its start in Detroit in 1911. Just a few years earlier, in 1908, William "Billy" Durant started General Motors. 2 years later, he was forced out, but the car business was in his blood, so he set to work again. He gathered some partners, including race car driver and car engineer Louis Chevrolet, and together they designed a new car. Durant believed that Chevrolet's name and reputation would be marketing gold, so he named the car after him. In 1911, the first Chevrolet, the Series C Class 6, was introduced. It was large and well crafted, featuring a 6-cylinder engine with a top speed of 65 miles an hour and a price tag of $2,150. Durant was also producing a more affordable car, the Little. Like its namesake, it was smaller. Sales of both cars were successful. The public liked the Chevrolet for its comfort, style, and precision. In 1914, the Little was remade into the Chevrolet Model L, joining another new car, the Model H. Also this year, the iconic bow tie logo was introduced. This new line of cars, seen as both tough and a good value, had quick success. Durant was busy over the next few years. He bought out his partner Chevrolet, saw tremendous sales for his cars. He introduced a truck to the line. He bought a controlling interest in GM, and he got himself back into the driver's seat at GM too. His new baby, Chevrolet, was now a division of GM. Durant left GM in 1920, but the car he brought them, the new line he brought them, this new Chevrolet, stuck around, becoming the heartbeat of America. Alfred P. Sloan, who would lead GM in some capacity for the next 30 years, had the motto, "A car for every purse and purpose," and propelled the Chevy brand to be the frontrunner for GM. In the early 20s, more manufacturing plants were opened to keep up with demand. Business was booming. Then, the stock market crashed and ushered in the Great Depression. But Chevrolet kept developing and producing. In 1934, the 10 millionth Chevrolet came off the assembly line. Chevy also introduced an independent front suspension, as well as the first built-in trunk in the Sport sedan model. In the 1940s, civilian car production stopped because of the war. Chevrolet shifted its manufacturing to help with the war effort. In the post-war era, Chevy featured some new styling changes, including a wraparound windshield. The 1950 Bel Air model was a hit. Other new features came along too, both the Power Glide and the first automatic transmission. But the biggest reveal of the decade was at the 1953 Motorama show with the 1953 two-seater Corvette. The first production had just 300 units. The 50 millionth Chevy, a 1955 Bel Air Sport, rolled off the production line in 1955. The now famous 57 Chevy tail fins were designed to duplicate the wide look in the rear. Bel Air models were given gold trim. The mesh grille insert and front fender chevrons, as well as the Chevrolet script on the hood and trunk, were all rendered in anodized gold. 1960 began with Junior Johnson winning the Daytona 500 in a Chevy, which was the first of many Chevrolet victories to come. Johnson won the second Daytona 500 in history, and he is the man responsible for drafting on the racetrack. The Beach Boys recorded their song 409 in 1962, singing their praise to the Chevy cars powered by the 409 engine. In 1967, the Camaro hit the scene with its high-performance engine and big range of personalized options. The Camaro was the pace car for the Indy 500 in both 1967 and 1969. During the 60s and 70s, the Chevrolet Impala series became one of the best-selling lines of cars in the entire US. In 1975, the commercial Baseball, Hot Dogs, Apple Pie, and Chevrolet premiered, driving into our collective conscience that driving a Chevrolet was American. Anti-lock brakes made their debut in Chevy's Corvette in 1986, a feature that would soon be ubiquitous on nearly all Chevys. The 80s saw a string of Chevy cars: the Sprint, the Spectrum, the Citation, the Cavalier, and the Celebrity. The 90s brought the Corsica and the Lumina. As larger vehicles became more popular, Chevy introduced its minivan, the Chevy Venture. That was followed by the Trailblazer and eventually the Traverse. The Chevy Impala was brought back to life in 2000, a mid-sized front-wheel four-door sedan. It was popular and maintained a steady production until it was finally discontinued in 2020. The Volt was their first go at a plug-in hybrid, as Chevy began to explore more fuel-efficient automobiles. It won awards in 2012 like North American Car of the Year, European Car of the Year, and World Green Car of the Year. 5 years later, GM launched the Chevrolet Bolt EV, which was the most affordable mass-market all-electric car. It, too, has garnered a slew of awards, including being listed in Time Magazine's Best 25 Inventions of the Year. In 2022, Chevy unveiled the new Bolt EUV. In 2020, Chevy released a mid-body engine in their Corvette. Hype oftentimes leads to disappointment, but this time, the Corvette has delivered big time. Cars tend to define generations. Chevrolet has produced cars that have become icons. And not just in the United States either. That famous Chevy bow tie can be seen in more than 130 countries. It'll be interesting to see where the road takes Chevrolet next. Thanks for watching Memory Mountain. If you enjoyed this video, please click to subscribe to our channel and hit the thumbs up button. Be sure to tap the notification bell so you'll be one of the first to know when we post our next story looking back over the landscape of Americana.